I heartily accept the motto that government is best which governs least. Carried out, it finally amounts to this, which also I believe, that government is best which governs not at all.
Hello, my name is Richard. I am an anarchist. This is my podcast. I do call it Front Porch Anarchist. Before I get started, I'd like to point out a few things. First of all, as you can already tell, this is a mobile edition of the podcast, so the sound quality is going to suck. I'll do the best I can to clean that up. Secondly, I'm sure I'm going to say something that you agree with or that you disagree with. And if you find yourself feeling strongly enough to yell at me, I'd really like it if you would take the time first to go into the show notes, and that's just wherever you found this on Apple or on Google or Podchaser, wherever you're listening to this podcast. There's some notes there. There's some hyperlinks in there. Go to the hyperlink that says something like send me a message or record a message. You click on that link and it's going to take you to the homepage for the podcast, which is anchor.fm/frontporchanarchist. And once you get there, there's a button. You can just push it and it will give you the ability through the magic of technology to record a message for me. It's real simple. I'm pretty sure you stay anonymous if you want to. I mean, you can give a name if you want to. It's not like I have any desire to figure out who you really are. I mean, death threats, maybe, but so far I haven't even tried to track anybody down. But record that message. If you don't want me to use the message on a future episode of Front Porch Anarchist, just let me know. If not, I reserve the right to use that, and that way others can learn or scoff at whatever message you leave for me. So take the time to do that before you start yelling at me, either in agreement or disagreement. Or, if you just have something to say, try that out too. Of course, you can always reach me through the old email, frontporchanarchist with an A @gmail.com. And you can find me on all the social medias if you want to. Now, with that out of the way, I just wanted to record a short episode and get it out there because I'm really tired of waiting so long in between each episode. But really, drive time is the only time I have. And it's hot. It's like, I don't know, it says it's 97 degrees, but it's supposed to be like 104 today or something. And, just insanely hot. So I can't just sit in the car. Even at night, it's still hot, and record. So you're stuck with this episode being a mobile edition, and of course the world's burning, climate change is killing us all, monkeypox is ravishing the entire planet, COVID's making a comeback, pretty much zombies wandering the streets, and vampires, and there's been a few Bigfoot sightings. The world is just ending, right? The religious people tell me these are the end times. I'm expecting the rapture to happen any day, so I'm pretty sure that, one day I'm just going to be sitting at work. I'm going to look around and nobody else is going to be there. I'm fairly certain of it. I'll be the only person left on Earth, and I'm not really sure that would even bother me. But there are a few topics that that I really feel like I would like to address at this particular time. And, take it or leave it. I realize in the grand scheme of things, what I have to say, my opinions, don't really account for much. But, I'm hoping that somebody hears this and, maybe they start down a path of looking for a freer way to live. Maybe they decide that it's time that they start respecting the freedoms of their neighbors. And just a less violent world, a more voluntary society. I'm thinking that one of the topics I would like to talk about today would be elections. I'm assuming that there is an election cycle coming up because I've been hearing a lot of campaign ads on the radio. I spend a lot of time driving back and forth to work, and I hear a lot of political campaign ads. A lot of it is just, it's just negative. I think they call it mudslinging. You know, it's not vote for this candidate, it's vote against this other candidate. And honestly, there are a few that it's like, hey, my name is so-and-so, and this is what I've done, and I'm asking you to vote for me. Okay, I get those, I guess. You know, if you're a statist, all right, you want people to vote for you so that you can push your opinion onto everybody at the point of a gun. So, all right, it's the way the system works. I can kind of get that. I don't understand this thing, though, where instead of talking about the good things you've done or what you want to get done, instead you talk bad about your opponent. Or were these things called political action committees, where they're not even related to a specific, they're not supposed to be related to a specific candidate, but they're just a group of people who either want somebody elected or they don't want another person elected. They all get together, they pool their money, and they talk trash about somebody, or I guess maybe they talk good about somebody. I don't know, because I haven't heard any of those good ones yet. And you know, some of these ads that I've been hearing, you know, they're pretty much straight to the point. This guy did this, this, and this, and this is why you should or shouldn't vote for him. And then there's some that are just like 60-second infomercials, not infomercials. They're more like a 60-second drama. That's what I'm looking for. It'll be one or two, or maybe even more people who they're paid actors, I would imagine, that are having a discussion about, you know, some issue or some candidate, and it's just so contrived. It's cringy just listening to it. And after listening to all of these different types of ads, I believe even more deeply that voters are stupid. Voters are stupid, and the people who want to get their votes know that they are stupid. I can't think of any other way around it, because at least the way I see it, most people vote along their party lines. I don't imagine a Democrat's going to be voting for a Republican or a Republican for a Democrat. The Libertarians, Lord, don't get me started there, because Libertarian will say they're a Libertarian, and then instead of voting for the Libertarian, they'll vote for the Republican because they don't want the Democrat to win. Which, I don't know, that makes no sense to me. That's some strategery that goes right over my head. If you don't vote for your candidate, he'll never win, and you'll just keep getting more of the same. Which brings me to one of the things I find fascinating about voting. Basically, you are given the choice between two candidates, and sometimes there's a Libertarian, and sometimes there's an Independent, and sometimes, you know, there's some guy who'll challenge the Democrat. You know, maybe you get two Democrats in the same race, but usually they do these primary things so that when it gets down to the final vote, you basically have a choice between a Republican or a Democrat. You're going to choose one or the other. And you know, I'm looking at the last election. Your choices were Donald Trump or Joe Biden. You might as well have not even had a choice. Well, I mean, what kind of choice is it if those are the guys you have to choose between? I can't imagine a Republican going up there and voting for Joe Biden. And I can't imagine a Democrat going up and voting for Donald Trump. Even if you don't agree with their politics, even if there's nothing at all you agree with between them, if you're going to vote, you have to pick one or the other. I guess there was probably like 1 million people who voted for Joe Jorgensen, the Libertarian candidate. And no telling how many people, you know, wrote somebody in. But honestly, we all knew that either Joe Biden or Donald Trump was going to win that election. And if you're a voter, how do you in good conscience go up and vote for either one of those people? There's no way you could have thought that Joe Biden should be the guy who's running the U.S. government. You couldn't have thought that. You're not going to convince me that you really thought that he's the best man to do that. You thought that he was the best man between him and Donald Trump. So you voted for Joe Biden. And, I'll flip it around the other way. You didn't really think that Donald Trump was the best person to run the U.S. government. There's no way you could have been. That guy was a goofball, just as much as this Biden character is. The only reason you would vote for him is so that Joe Biden didn't win. You're voting to keep the other guy out. And that's my assertion for everybody. But then there are some, there are individuals who say, yeah, I'm voting to keep this guy out. I'm voting for the lesser of two evils. The whole time they don't understand that they're still supporting the evil. Even if it's a lesser evil, they're still supporting that. Why would you do that? Why would you put your name on evil? And I'm using evil loosely here because I'm not a religious kind of person or a spiritual kind of person or whatever. We could talk about the definition of evil, bad or not right, or however you want to define it, immoral. But I think we all know what I'm talking about here. You're not picking the best man for the job. You're keeping the worst of the two from getting the job. And I just don't know how the voter can insert himself into that. Are there better elections at the local level? Maybe, but I don't know. The ads I'm hearing, there's no choices that aren't evil. I hear smear ads against each politician, and if those things are true, which I'm assuming they are, because I'm not hearing anybody contest this, and some of it I know is true because I've heard the news reports. I know it's true. So how do you support this system and these ads? These ads, they reaffirm my belief that the voter is stupid and that the person running the campaign knows that the voter's stupid, because I'm going to get half the people voting for a Democrat, basically, or 40%. I'm going to get 40% or 45% voting for the Republican. And then that's going to leave me, like 10% of the people who are independent or libertarian or undecided. And that's who these ads are going for, because the person running the campaign already knows that the Democrat is so stupid that he's going to vote for the Democrat guy no matter what. And he knows that the Republican is so stupid that he's going to vote for the Republican no matter what. And the Libertarian is probably can be swayed to vote for the Republican, but there's going to be some Libertarians who are going to vote for the Democrat for the reasons I mentioned before. They know that the Libertarian guy is not going to win, so they're trying to keep the other guy out of the office. And then, I don't know how many people consider themselves independents, but they're pretty much going to end up voting for one or the other of the main party guys as well. So the guy running the campaign knows that he's already got 45% of the vote locked up for his candidate. He's just trying to get that other, as much of that other 10% as he can. And he's believing that he can sway that vote just by talking about how bad the other candidate is. And I guess he's right, because, we always get some goofball politician that's up there that sounds and looks just like a used car salesman. And I know that's probably disparaging toward used car salesmen, but have you bought a used car? Have you met a used car salesman? Okay, well, they're kind of self-disparaging I'm sure there's some good ones out there, and if you know of any, please let me know, because I'm always looking for a good deal on a car. Actually, the last car I bought was probably the best experience I had with a used car salesman. I don't really think he was a used car salesman, but he was some dude wearing flip-flops, I believe, that just happened to be there. I think he was probably some family to the guy who owned it. And I pretty much told him what I wanted, and he grabbed the keys. We went out there and looked at it, and we cut a deal. So, no high-pressure tactics or anything, and I already knew the vehicle was a bomb, and that I was going to have to do some work on it. So, wasn't any lying there. He didn't have to lie to me. Maybe that's why I didn't really mind him. But getting back to the whole voter thing, you're being played. If you're voting, you're being played. Your vote, no matter which way you vote, I'm going to throw this out here, you're going to hate that too. No matter which way you vote, you're helping to elect whichever moron gets elected. So, you can vote against Donald Trump all day long if you want to, but if Donald Trump gets elected, you have voted this guy in. No matter who you vote for, you're electing the moron that gets elected. You're helping to pick the guy who gets elected. You're going to want to separate yourself from that person. Oh, I didn't vote for that person. No, you voted in the system. You voted for the system, and the system elected the moron that gets in there. So you own that election, whether you voted for Ronald McDonald or Trump or Biden, which any one of those probably do about the same job. And in that context, you're being played. One of those guys is going to win, and they're going to do basically the same job as whoever's running. You've been led to believe that you had some say in it, even though you're given two clowns to vote between, vote for, pick, choose, however you want to say it. You've only been given those two people to vote for, and realistically, they're the only ones that are going to win. There could be an outsider every now and then who might push that envelope, but it's very rare. I've never seen it in my lifetime. I think there was Ross Perot that gave a pretty good showing. And maybe Ron Paul. But most of the time you've got that choice between those two people, and the politicians know it. They've already set you up to have to choose, and they know you're stupid enough to make that decision. I'm simply flabbergasted by the whole thing, from campaign ads, the billions that are spent on campaign ads, all the way down to the people who believe that if their guy doesn't win, they have no responsibility for what their government does. Simply amazing to me. Just one of the things that I wanted to throw out there today on my way to work. And again, I'm sorry about the quality of the audio. It's pretty annoying even to me, but if you've managed to listen to through this long, I do appreciate that. And like I said, if you're going to start yelling at the device that you're listening to me on, just go ahead and click that link so that you can leave me a message. I would really like to hear it. Maybe you can learn me something. As I tell my kids, maybe you could learn me on the subject of voting and how you're not responsible for, electing the moron that's in office right now by voting. All right. Thank you for listening, and maybe I'll have a new full-length, much better quality episode up very shortly. Thanks.
We hope you enjoyed this broadcast of the Front Porch Anarchast. Like and share our page or send us a message at Front Porch Anarchast on Facebook.
masters. Anarchy needs no masters.
Front Porch Anarchist.